Sachidanand Holistic Science International Conference. First one is about to happen in few hours, August 27, 2010. It's a beautiful Oakridge area. It's actually just across the street from Days Inn, where Vasanbhai and Tarulataben lives. This is the surrounding area where the conference is. This is the building, Technology Conference Center. Polar Technology Conference Center. Holistic Vision and Integral Living. Holistic Research Center. Just entering inside the conference area. This is the different table setup for refreshments during the break time. I'm entering the area where the registration is going to happen from 3 to 4 today on August 27th. This is the people at work. This is where the registration will happen. This is Ram and Mehul for registration. Help. These are the books, publication books, specifically made for holistic vision, that will be distributed today. A Journal of Holistic Vision and Integral Living. This is the donation desk. And this is the beautiful logo, HSCRF. This is the auditorium where the event will actually take place. Very beautiful setup here. This is where the speakers, guest speakers, scientists will converge in few hours in presence of Puj Dadaji, the conference will start. View from the speaker's point of view, the panel people.
We have assembled again here to understand what is the holistic vision which Dr. Shailesh Mehta, who is director of VVCRF, ophthalmologist by profession, initiated by Dada Bhagwan, and has unconditionally and has dedicated his whole life for his only wish to serve the humanity and the purpose of the life. He is a dedicated celibate and is visiting for last many years all over the globe, especially Australia, New Zealand, USA, England, besides India. His topic is holistic vision. The deliberation is for 1 hour. It gives in-depth the knowledge of inner and outer experience, which and shared by Dada Bhagwan and experienced by him. Is very interesting and very, very informative to all of us to understand that holistic vision. Dr. Shailesh Mehta.
His Holiness Param Pujya Kanu Dadaji, all invited dignitaries, friends and colleagues. I am here to talk something about holistic vision and integral living based on Vitrag Vignan, that is the holistic science of today. This being the era of science, our mind and intellect always tries to understand the things in terms of science, tools of science, and terminology of the science. But at the second phase or second aspect of it, we also have to see that what is the science behind everything. So I am here to tell you the science behind this thing. And there are two aspects of science, material or outer science, which is also termed as the physical science, which is the science of the ever-changing things or the relative things. And as the Vitrag see, there is another aspect of the science, which is the science of our own inner self, that is to say our own life and my own life and living, including my mind, body, speech. So whatever the science being perceived outside is in terms of 5 senses and tools based on 5 senses. But what about what is illuminating these 5 senses and what is inside as the knower, perceiver, observer, or what is one which is inside, which is experiencing the things? So science has to be one which can make humans happy in overall perspective, from within and from without, and especially from within. So what is the need for inner science? Every one of us know that the progress of material sciences have gifted us with a lot of amenities, luxuries and comforts, and it is certainly welcome. But if I look inside me, still I have a lot of clashes, stresses, inner unrest, and I am in search of inner peace, happiness and harmony. As a medical doctor, I know that previously we were talking only about physical health. Now we are talking of a total health in terms of mind, body, soul health. And instead of only intelligent quotient, we are also now considering emotional quotient, or the spiritual quotient. So to say, everybody is now moving towards holicism. So Vitrags, having realized the limitation of outer science, for resolution of these inner things, go in search of the science of the inner self. And as a result of that, when they have researched their inner self, and when they have the opened out knowledge light and perception light, not only all the mysteries for themselves get resolved, but all the mysteries of the universe also get resolved for them. If we see the use of material science today has been little above normal. We are trying to reduce the perspiration and natural phenomena by Botox injections, something like poisonous injections. But anyway, science is a knowledge. Science cannot be wrong. Its use has to be guided by holistic visions. That is what the Gnani Purush has to say. So what is the Vitrag Vignan, or the inner science which we are right now talking all about? It is the science of my own life and living, science of I with mind, speech and body, along with my surroundings, animate and non-animate, and its natural regulatory mechanisms. My own human life is a live, unique experiment of the universe, where I am there as an experimenter, and the experiment is going on. So, in other words, it's a science of conscious or pure soul self in relation to matter, or science of relative self in relation to real self, science of anatma in relation to atma, science of prakriti in relation to purush, or the science of cause and effect. Scientists are curious to know about the existence or nature of soul and its relation to matter, and they are trying in various ways. Herein the Gnani Purush gives clear details of conscious or pure soul in relation to matter, with practical aspects of how best it can be useful in daily living. So it encompasses the entire spectrum from Vyavahar Vignan, that is the visions which are useful for a happy, harmonious daily living, to Keval Gnan, that is the absolute pure knowledge. What can we aim, or what can we expect the benefits out of knowing this science? It enables one to have the puzzle-free, positive, happy, harmonious human living from within. It enables one to experience inner freedom, even amidst adverse circumstances or situations which are rampant nowadays. It enables one to realize the inner potentials and to make optimum use of it. It is said that I have the latent and potent abilities within me, which are as good as which were manifested in Mahavir or Krishna or Dada Bhagwan or Christ, or so to say anybody. So what's the scientific way by which I can recognize my inner potentials and make optimum use of it? Ultimately, one can know the ultimate truth or the ultimate knowledge of life and attain the ultimate liberation. Vitrag Vignan or Akram Vignan, which are the terms which are used by us, so just I have put it there to be familiar. But in a way, they are holistic science of today, and you already know by now, by the presentations beforehand, that in present time it was perceived, not only perceived, but experienced and then revealed by self-realized holistic scientist Dada Bhagwan, who had enlightenment in 1958, and presently by self-realized Gnani Purush Kanu Dadaji, having self-realization in 1963. But what is the science? The people will accept science only when it can be replicated, it can be experienced, or it can be observed by the other people following the similar strategy or the similar fundas or principles. So this is very important, that it is being perceived and experienced by hundreds of aspirants, including scholars or learned ones, and we are one of them. And it can be experienced by all, having open-hearted, earnest inquisitiveness. So that is how we can certainly say that it is a science, because it's not working for only one, but it is working for hundreds, and it can work for hundreds. Before I really go to the flow of the science and its daily applications, I'll just like to ponder over its unique contributions, because here I know that there are many scholars, scientists, and apart from seekers who would like to enter into the research areas. So for them, this may be a good insight. This is easy, practical, result-giving science, and yet a complete science. It is holistic because it is useful to one and all, irrespective of not only caste, color, creed, faith, or nationality, but irrespective of one's literacy or developmental. Somebody is coming from the stream of science, somebody from the commerce, somebody from the other field. So it is universally beneficial to one and all. Just to mention few of the unique contributions: scientific circumstantial evidences as a basis for creation and governance of the world, clarity and clear demarcation of fate and free will, pratisthit atma or belief atma or a migratory soul, and pure soul self, which are two distinct entities. For the first time, I think this pratisthit atma or belief atma has been very well explained by Dada Bhagwan as the foundation for the ongoing world. Science of relative inner self, that is to say antaskaran, science of speech, sorry for the pointer, science of pure soul, self and matter, holistic science of nature and human living. And Dadaji, who had managed to fail in the matric, comes out with the unique marvel: the world is the puzzle itself. And there are two viewpoints to solve this puzzle, one relative, the other real. This science has another beautiful character: relative and real both are parallel. It does not negate relative, but that is to say, I can pursue my profession, my social life, my family life, my everything, along with I can also enjoy the real, and both has to grow parallel and complementary to each other. So now going to the routine aspects of these sciences, I'm starting with the day-to-day life and the most common things, because what I believe is, rather than talking the theory of the high order and stretching our intellect too much, what I'm interested is to have my life, day-to-day living, happy, harmonious, puzzle-free human living. So every one of us, rather every living being, is in search of happiness. We have a lot of outer comforts, but Gnani Purush observes that both the outer comforts and inner happiness should be balanced. If there is a pointer, both should be balanced. If there are a lot of outer comforts but very less or meager of inner happiness, we may need to resort to sleeping pills or the psychiatric medicines. So how the inner happiness comes? Suppose Dr. Radhe or Vasantbhai is trying to arrange this, and ask them for months together, when from the moment they have decided to have this event, they must be feeling much joyous within their hearts. Suppose if as a doctor I decide that I'll be helping this patient out, before really I help that patient out, from the moment I decide to help somebody, I'll start feeling happy. Why to go in a major event? Suppose I have a birthday of my grandson at my house after 1 month. From the moment I decide that I'll have a celebration, before really I go and invite anybody, really before I spend a penny, I start feeling happy within. So what is the science behind this? Whatever actions of my mind, body, speech, which are going to make others happy, would make me happy first, before really the other one is getting the happiness. And if I examine the reverse situation, suppose somebody tells that Dr. Radhe was criticizing you in your absence. Now Dr. Radhe is enjoying with Lalitaji at his home, but what happens to me? My mind will start revolving that let me see Dr. Radhe and I'll see him and tell him that and not what not. So what happens? Before really I go and tell him anything or fire him anything, I'm fired first. So suppose in my office somebody says that your staff was not behaving well, So I decide that, okay, next day let me go to the office and take him to the task, but before really I take him to the task, I am being taken to the task. So whatever actions of my mind, speech, body which are going to hurt or disturb others will disturb me first or hurt me first. So this is a very simple natural truth, and I don't think it requires much elaborate scientific tools rather than your own inner observation, perception. So a lot of the sciences can be known by inner perception and inner observations, and which are universal for one and all. So Gnani Purush says that if you have a grocery shop, you will never be in a shortage of grocery. So if you want really to be happy, open out the happiness shop, and you will be never in shortage of happiness. Would you be? No. So the question is how to open the happiness shop. Who would give the loan, mortgage? Nowadays there is a recession. Nobody is going to lend us the money for any purpose. From where to bring the inventories? So the answer is very simple. My mind, body, speech which nature has given me is the most precious asset, and what is required is my inclination, my inner resolve, my inner attitude to decide that whosoever comes to me from, or whomsoever I happen to meet from morning to evening, let me try to give some happiness to somebody. Gnani Purush from his childhood had this resolve that whosoever meets me should gain something from me, should become happy from me by mind, by speech, or by body. And believe me, it is not for others, it's for me only. It's my secret, it's my self-interest. So, yoga upayoga paropkara, use your mind, body, speech, that is yoga, and intellect, your time for others. Again, to say it's really not being used for others, it's being used for me only. If it is said, if it is seen in this context, the world is me only, there is no other in the world but me only. So this is how the Gnani Purush or the enlightened ones see that how it is affecting me. Each action of my mind, body, speech, how it is affecting me and what's in my self-interest. So I should resolve in the morning that let my mind, body, speech not hurt anyone to the slightest extent in the world, and let my mind, body, speech give happiness to one and all to the extent possible. It is not required that I need to shell out the dollars from my pocket. If I have, well and good. If I don't have, it's fine. It's attitude, and the nature will take care of rest of the things. Dadaji said another very wonderful secret. Suppose I'm a doctor. Every doctor is a professional and has a motive or main production or intention that I would earn, I would have a nice practice, I would have a name and fame for me. But Dadaji said that's a wrong feeding of the data. If you have the main production that, okay, I will be helping the people and I'm here to help the people, name and fame is going to come in the byproduct. Dollars are going to come in the byproduct. So if your main product is correct, your byproduct is going to be there. We are wasting our lives behind byproduct, not knowing the main product. So what's the main product or the main purpose of the life which is brought out by the Gnani Purush? A word about relative happiness and real happiness. If I'm given everything as per my desire, whatever dollars required, whatever good wife, good children, everything, if I observe within me, still I will have some unrest and still I will have some fear, because ultimately it is relative happiness dependent on the circumstances. And then on the other hand, when I say there is a relative happiness, there should be real happiness which is independent of the circumstances, and the real happiness starts only when I know who am I. So, taking it little more onto the area of self-interest, here everybody is very intelligent, everybody says that I know my self-interest very well. But if we look from the perspective of the Gnani Purush, let's go inside and examine how really I know my self-interest. So, as I see, suppose I have been traveling with a lot of people in a car and I am observing them, they are speeding, over-speeding, and always they are looking whether there is any police around or whether there is a camera and whether the ticket would come. So our mistakes are our boss. If I am not speeding, the police will not bother me. So looking from this perspective, Dadaji said dishonesty is the best foolishness, or one who deceives others is deceived first or one is really not deceiving others but deceiving one's own self. Now, if I examine this from the scientific perspective, what happens? Whenever I'm trying to fool somebody or trying to tell a lie, if I look within me, there is already conflict has started within me. Already there is some stress which is building on me. And if I look, my pulse is fast, my respiration is fast. And based on that, the people have come out with lie detectors, biofeedback, and brain mapping, which is measuring the gross effects of the subtle things. So if this much are the gross effects, what must be the subtle effects? So what is in my self-interest then? So he has said that there is a disparity of mind, speech, and body as being seen commonly today. What I speak is different from what I think, and what I behave is different from what I speak. And that's the major cause of stress as being observed today. So same thing taking little ahead, if once I learn how to see within me effect of each act of my mind, body, speech from grossest to subtlest, I can readily discriminate what is in my self-interest when I have the feelings of love and feelings of hatred, when I have the feelings of revenge versus feeling of forgiveness or compassion. When I see the virtues of others, when I try to praise the others, I am feeling first happy, I am feeling first elated, and I get those virtues free of cost. As against that, when I am trying to criticize or trying to find faults in the others, I become disturbed first, negativity creeps in me, and there is going to be clashes outside too. So it's your choice what to choose. So from that angle, the Vitrags say that anger, greed, pride, deceit, attachment, and aversion are really your inner enemies. If you can at least recognize, know that they are not your friends but enemies, the rest of the things would fall in its place. Going further about the self. So one who can win one's own self really wins the world. Gnani Purush tries to win their own self. Mahavir had tried to win his own self, and the whole world was conquered against him. Universe is within. There is a dictum in Sanskrit, Pinde so Brahmande. Many of you may not know that, but universe, there is a big universe within, and one who can research one's own universe, relative and real self, has probably researched everything worthwhile. So, should I try to improve others or my own self? Can I improve others? Most of us spend entire life in trying to improve others. Husband tries to improve wife, wife tries to improve others, parents try to improve children and whatnot. But at the end of the life, if we take out the crux or the experience, probably nobody can improve anybody. I need to improve myself. One who is improved by one's own self, by his very presence, the others are improved. So one who can manage the self is really able to manage everything else. So this is the message taking. I'm trying to make this my own mind, body, speech as the biggest laboratory of the universe, and trying to experiment with it, what's really what. So coming to the holistic visions for daily livings, some few wonderful, simple visions are given by Gnani Purush. One of them is avoid clashes. So what happens when I have a clash with somebody? Whenever I have a clash with somebody, I notice that my mood is off for few minutes, few hours, few days sometimes. I lose my inner harmony, my inner happiness, my inner strength, and so much whatnot. So he said, at least resolve to avoid clashes. No sooner you resolve to avoid clashes, your inner light will show you the path how to sail through different situations without entering into clashes. Is it surrendership? Not at all. It is not surrendership. It is resolving vision light from within. So he said that the common sense, which we believe that it is very common because the word is common. But what is common sense? Common sense is one which is applicable theoretically as well as practically under all situations. So one with a common sense knows how to sail through in different situations without anybody's mind being hurt or broken apart. So another very good sentence is adjust everywhere. One who masters the art of adjusting everywhere with different personalities under different situations would not only be happy in this world, relative world, but can sail through the liberation, right up to the door of liberation. Now my next question is, I want to adjust everywhere, but how can I? Because in my own family, all the members have different personalities. I'm trying to persuade them not able to do so. So he gave another wonderful example that we go to farms and we go to gardens too. In a farm, everything is alike. If it is a rice, everything is rice. If it is almond, everything is almond. But in a garden, we have all different varieties deliberately put together, put there because we like varieties. So one is pink rose, another is yellow rose, something is another flowering plant, strawberry, blueberry, mango and whatnot. Does mango tree tell to the rose that you don't have a beautiful mango like me? Does rose tell to the mango that you don't have a beautiful flower like me? Or do we go and complain to the rose that why do you have a thorn? It is pricking me. The rose will laugh at us. So this simple, wonderful vision, every human personality is a natural creation, but none without a fruit or flower. Everything has fruit or flower in terms of positivity, abilities or virtues. So what should be our endeavor then? In a house, if we look, everybody has a different personality. Husband is different than a wife. Wife is different from a husband. Parents are different than a children. Our human nature is to find the similarity. Why you are not like me? I'm looking from my spectacles. No, look from the nature's angle and try to know what one knows and make best use of it. Never complain about what one doesn't know, right? So this is with this vision adjust everywhere easily possible. So world is our own echo. Whatever vibrations, attitudinal or vibrations are being generated from me, really go out, and even before it comes back in the form of echo, no sooner they are generated within, its inner effect, reflection, will make me positive or negative, happy or unhappy, and then it goes out and reverberates back to me. If I say to somebody, you are a very nice person, I'll have the same thing within, you are also a very good person. But if I say somebody, even within my mind, you are a rascal, I have to be ready to listen the echo, you are a bastard, right? So it's up to you to what echoes to project. So these are some simple things, but believe me, it can make a lot of difference in the life. And believe me, even it can be medically recorded. And there are so many psychosomatic diseases nowadays, increasing the root of it lying in just simple ill understandings. So taking it to further to the level of interpersonal dealings, husband and wife, a very unique relation, correctly termed as a pious relation. For some, the vision may be different, but husband and wife, what should be the relation? They should be the best friends. It is the best companionship required and arranged by nature. The two persons come together, but the two eye do remain separate. As long as one eye is loving, caring, sharing, and friendly with the other eye, everything is win-win. But when one eye tries to win over the other, the situations become different. I would just quote here A.M. Patel's one of the incidents, even before he was enlightened. Hiraba lost her one eye right in the young age. The people started coming and telling A.M. Patel that would you like to remarry because Hiraba has already lost one eye in right this young age. His answer was, I have promised in presence of sacred fire, even if he loses her other eye, both eyes, I would keep that promise and I would put my this one life for that promise. So this is the difference between what you, and believe me, it is in your self-interest. As I said before, husband is not living for wife, wife is not living for husband, one is living for one's own self, if it is being seen from within. So similarly, parents and children. Parents have the responsibility more than a prime minister of a country in bringing up their children, because it is the overall upbringing, not only academic, but moral, social, cultural, and overall upbringing of the children. Parents do complain that our children are not listening us, but what is at the root cause? The very character of the parents, strength of their value-based living, and the atmosphere in the house, which is going to influence the mind of the children. It's not by words, but by what we are doing and what they are seeing that they would learn. So Dadaji gave a wonderful tip to handle the children. Glass, handle with care. We read on a parcel, glass, handle with care. So that is what Dadaji gave us. So Dadaji said that one should be proficient in the family organization. Family is a natural association of 4 or 5 people, and each one should be having hearty love for each other and a readiness to help each other in time of the need. Right now we are seeing that the families are being broken apart, but Gnani's vision is something different. And ultimately he says that you need not conquer the world, but you better win your own home. You better win your own world. First is my inner world inside. If I am becoming clash-free and stress-free, the world is clash-free and stress-free for me. And second is my home wherein I am living with my family. I happen to travel a lot at different places, and so many times the people tell me that we have everything outside, but inside we feel lonely. Loneliness is the big word of the present time. Dadaji said, why there should be any loneliness? You start loving the others unconditionally, and even if other people won't love you, no sooner you start loving the people, your heart will be full, there will be no loneliness, and the echoes will be love in return. So, summing up this interpersonal dealings and the visions, I am looking through this spectacle. If this spectacle is not correct, I'm an eye doctor, I know the people, how they see the world. As long as they don't have the correct number, even though the world is beautiful, they can't see the world as it is. So similarly, what is my inner spectacle of looking the world, feeling, perceiving, and experiencing the world? It is in form of visions and beliefs. The life is nothing but bundle of visions and beliefs. There are only two things, self and circumstances. Do the circumstances make us happy or unhappy? Really, no. It is my vision or my understanding of looking at the circumstances which make me happy or unhappy. So let's have 1 or 2 examples. All of us, most of us, not all of us, pardon me, most of us are trying to be happy by comparison, competition, and race course. But in race course, only one horse gets number 1, the rest all become breathless, and that number 1 has tension that when the other will cross over me. So Gnani Purush says that I have been out of this race course. So the next question is, without competition, how can we do better? Ask the rose plant, without any competition, it blossoms out very fine naturally, normally. So everybody has a potential, it is a natural abilities of blossoming out to the best extent. Another thing is correct and incorrect visions. Whatever my visions, which are making others happy, in turn making me happy, in any given situation, there is no need for me to have any clash, any unhappiness within if my visions are correct. And incorrect visions, which is making me unhappy as well as others unhappy. So if I know my life experiment, which is going within in connection to nature and surroundings well, my visions would be automatically positive. Positive is not hypothetical or illusionary or imaginary. It is correctness of vision in line of my this human life experiment, which is going in connection to the nature and natural rules and fundamentals. So if any one of us has fracture, we will keep on telling to the people or friends whosoever comes that, oh, I have a fracture, and it will take 3 months to heal. Gnani Purush had a fracture, his smile was intact, and his answer was fracture had occurred at that moment. From the next moment, it has started uniting. What is the truth? You as a scientist find out. Life is nothing but the bundle of beliefs and psychological effects. This mind, body, speech is working as a hardware, whereas my beliefs and visions are working as a software. Gnani Purush is not doing anything else. He is just turning your visions and beliefs for the correctness, so that the whole entire life experiment will become happy, harmonious, blissful, full of energy, not only for you, but everything connected to you. So coming to the little subtler parts of human life experiment, I know there are so many scientists sitting over here and they will like to know more about the subtle parts of the human experiment. When I say the human life is a live experiment, they are naturally going to ask me the question. So life has 2 parts. One part is part of happenings. All of us are sitting in this auditorium. Is it happening or is it our independent doing? If Vasant Bhai and Dr. Radhe had not called me, how am I going to be here? Can I say I independently came here? There would be many of you who would have been wanted to be here, but they would have to call regretfully Dr. Radhe that, oh, I was ready to leave my house, but something came up last moment and I cannot come. So one part of the life is one which is dependent on circumstantial evidence is coming together. And for any happening, so many circumstantial evidences have to come together in a scientific way, in a favorable way for the things to happen. So this part we have realized that, okay, this depends on so many circumstantial evidences. What within me? Am I independent about my mind? Yes, why no? It is my mind. But when it goes haywire then, when it doesn't allow me to sleep at night, what about my speech? I decide that I will speak like this. I have decided that I'll give my presentation like this, but something different comes out. So what is there? So even at times we realize that we are not independent about the speech. So here Gnani Purush asks us, where are we independent? In this part of happenings, are we independent doer or instrumental doer? So after this much of thing, probably we'll be forced to think that we are not independent doer, but we are instrumental doer, because the things are happening by accumulation and dispersion of the so many circumstantial evidences, having connectivity of the past, present and future, gross and subtle, so many things. Then the next question is, where am I independent and what I am supposed to do? So there is another part, is the part of inner decision, projections or free will. While undergoing all these events, within me, continuously, spontaneously, incessantly, the new bhava, new decisions are being done, or the new projections are happening as I am living, as I am Shailesh, I am name bearer and I am doer. This inner experiment is going on continuously. All of us are sitting in this auditorium, the action is same for everybody. Do you think the decision, inner decision would be same for everybody when they leave the auditorium? Somebody will have a positive decision, oh, this was wonderful, let me know the science in a full extent. Somebody will have a decision, oh no, this was not worth, I'll not commit again. So the inner decisions would be different while going through the life. So let me give you one or two more examples. Suppose I'm a doctor right now. So I became a doctor because of my previous decision. Now I may change my decision inside. My brother is a chartered accountant earning 10 times more than me with 10 times less tension, and he can hire 3 or 4 doctors like me for a charity, and I may change my inner vows may be different. So these two parts, one is a part of happenings or activities or actions by mind, body, speech and everything, circumstantial evidences coming together outside, and the another part in the form of my inner decisions, living as I am name bearer and I am doer, are two separate. My free will is within in the form of my inner decisions or inner projections. So this is the basis of cause and effect or charge and discharge. The people try to understand karma and karma fall to a lot extent, but not being able to understand what is really the cause and effect or karma and karma fall. If we have been independent in, suppose if I say that, oh, I go to my clinic regularly at 9:30, and sometimes somebody of my family member is sick and the patients are waiting there, I have to call them, I'm sorry, I have some other engagement, some other emergency coming. So if karmanyeva adhikarasti, if it was my independent choice, why can't I be there in time? So these activities or actions is the effect of the inner decision, and wherever the inner decisions are being taken is a part of cause or the seed. You can of course always ask Gnani Purush, because this is the most subtle part I am drawing your attention to. So taking it little further, how does really it act? Suppose I had decided that I want a beautiful wife, she should be learned, she should be from a rich family. And this, when I'm signing the contract within, there is an individual computer within it, it gets recorded. Really, so to say, scientifically what happens, in presence of pure soul self, living as I am doer, I am attracting atoms and molecules from outside. They are getting charged like the electromagnetism, or something like what I am writing on a audio CD or video CD, which is not being seen with naked eye, but there is a print. So similarly, the atoms and molecules get attracted within, they get printed. There is a vast cosmic regulatory computerized system where all the computers are lent in. So this fed data goes to the nature's computer. Now nature's cosmic regulatory system tells me that right now time is not ripe. You are too young to have a wife. Wait. So nature makes me wait till the age of 22, 23, 24, and then when it gives me result, it gives me scientifically. So it doesn't give me wife alone, but it gives me father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, everything free for one. So this is how the bhav and the effect is working. So having understood this much, now we go to the application, practical utility of this science. I, as a student of science, was always interested what is practical use of this. Well, I have learned the theory. How can I get the benefit out of it? That's my always I wanted to say. So having realized this science, now we come to the science of behavior and new decision. Most of us, every teacher, preacher, whosoever is there, preaches us that change your behavior, be kind, don't be angry, don't do that. I also want to remain like that. But no sooner some instance happens and like something comes up. I don't want to be angry, but the anger comes up. So what is the science? The science here is you can change the cause or seed, you cannot change the effect or fruit. So this my present Prakriti is the fruit or result of my previous beliefs and opinions. I cannot change that immediately. What I need to change is the seed that is in form of present understanding, based on which my present decisions or my present projections are being done. Suppose I have a quiet personality and Nimesh Anandji is teaching me that you need to become strict and hard. I go from my home that I'll be strict and hard on my staff. I can't do that because I have a different personality. And somebody has aggressive personality. He goes from the home making that I'll be quiet this way, that way. Prakriti gives the reaction. So Dadaji said that I do not ask anybody to change the behavior forcibly, but I change the understandings. And once the understandings or the decision is changed for today, the behavior will be automatically changed tomorrow. This is the very easy fundamental science. Having learned that, what we need to do at the level of understanding or inner projection or decision, main two bhavnas. One, I have already told you that let my mind, body, speech make others happy. And the second bhavna or second resolve will be, I want to know who am I? What is my perpetual or permanent self? I want to know the eternal truth. So I will pray the nature or the whosoever believe that give me such circumstances that I can know that. And there are 9 codes of conduct as bhavnas. You will find the reference somewhere else. I am not going into detail. Now I come to the more subtler part of the human experiment. That is, let's try to understand by a simple way. When I say my name is Shailesh, who is I saying my name? When I say that this is my wristwatch, the wristwatch and honor has to be different. So when I say my mind, my speech, my body, even I say my egoism. My egoism is coming in way to bowing him or meeting him. So everything which I am saying my, if I put on one side, what remains on other side is I. I am aware that I am there, I am name bearer, but factually who am I? I am not sure. And if I examine the part of my, there are happenings in the part of my. The part which falls under my or mine is continuously changing. And it has a beginning and end. So if this is a continuously changing part with the beginning and end, who is that knowing that it is changing has to be constant. And one which is knowing that it has a beginning and end, that means it is temporary, has to be constant or permanent. So I is there as a knower and seer which is permanent. But out of my ignorance, I have mixed the two parts, my a temporary and I a permanent. In a mathematics, if I say A multiplied by B, either both has to be temporary or both has to be permanent to get the correct answer. Here I am multiplying permanent with a temporary and I am looking for the answer. So you now understand how it should be done. So doer and knower must be separate. I say I did it and I also say I knew it. Both cannot be same, it has to be separate. So one has to separate I and my with Gnani separator. Let's go into the depth of science of I and my. So I, by its real viewpoint, is a Chetan or pure soul self, and my is a Pudgal, in a way to say is a charged matter which is a non-live life. As I already told you, the atoms and molecules outside are in their pure form. When they are being attracted within me, in the presence of my real soul self, they get charged. The matter in itself is not live, but as it gets charged, it appears to be live. So it is a non-live life. The properties of both pure soul self, that is a real part, and the property of the relative, that is a charged matter which is composing mind, body, speech, are totally distinct and separate. None of the property of Prakriti is there in the pure soul self. None of the attribute or property of pure soul self is there in the relative soul self. But then what is happening? This is a puzzle, that as the two have come together, the extra spatial properties develop, which I'll show you in the next slide. And the pure soul self, conscious or spirit itself is a science, and that's why the other sciences are there. Without it, the other sciences would not have been there, especially one which is related to my life and living would not have been there. So, how can one know the pure soul self, or what are the attributes? Can it be known by the tools of the laboratory? It can be known by the inner tools, because it is having the nature of knowledge light, perception light, and bliss. So I can perceive it, I can know it. It can know itself as well as it can know the others. And this is really, it starts by the process of self-realization, initiation, whatever word you use. The awareness, be-awareness, already talked, so I'm leaving that part apart. So this is a simple graphic I have put here, making you a little bit understand what really is happening. The pure soul is having its own properties, the matter is having its own properties. When the two come together, the extra spatial properties develop, as which is shown in between in the shaded light, which is very our human life or any living being's life. And what are these extra spatial properties? I am doer, I am name bearer, or anger, pride, deceit, and attachment. These are the extra spatial properties. They are neither the innate properties of pure soul, neither the innate properties of matter, but they have come up as the two elements have come together. In a science, we know that when the two elements come together, the extra properties do get generated, and it can be either a mixture or either a compound. Here it's a mixture. So this is another diagrammatic representation. Pure soul having its dravya, that is existential matter with innate properties or attributes. Matter also having dravya, that is existential matter with innate properties or attributes. Both as elements, their existential matter or innate properties do not change. Then what is changing and what is being seen or perceived as changing are the phases of both. As they come together, the phases of matter and phases of the pure soul self, they are changing, and that is what we are perceiving as the life, living, and the changing phases of the life, in presence of course, other four elements to help them. So, to understand the complete picture of life, I know this is not a play of words. I am just trying to give you the insight, and you need to take it further with the help of Jnani Purush, who is a living scientist or living holistic scientist amongst us, if you feel so. So, trying to make the complete picture of the life, Chetan and matter, as I have said, as they come together, the third extra properties do get generated, and especially in a human format, when I have a belief that I am a name bearer and I am doer, the process of charge and discharge continuously goes on, and there is atomic and molecular configuration of my mind, speech, and body from whatever bhav. Either I have the inner decision of a rage reaction, I'll slap him, or either I may have inner decision of I'll help him. So from whatever bhav I have attracted the atoms and molecules, that's what is collectively making my mind, body, speech to give me the results. And there are three types of body being described by Jnani Purush. One which medical professionals know to the microscopic levels, that is gross body. Another is the electrical body, aura body, or a vitality or energy body, which is being measured by electrocardiogram, electromyogram, electroencephalogram. Third is the causal body, which is said to be the subtlemost body, and except for the absolute ones or the realized Jnani Purush, nobody can really see the subtlety of that. And the fourth is the pure soul self. The universe is made of the 6 elements. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but there are so many questions always being asked. What is the origin and extinction of the universe? Whether the universe originated or didn't originated. If we take this further, in science we know that the elements are the only ones which are permanent and perpetual. If we accept the permanency of the elements, they have to be there in the universe. So how can the question come that whether it originated or whether it is going to be destroyed? It is only the transformations of the phases which is going on from one to another, and it is in the cyclical patterns. The another question being asked is whether the universe is in a chaos or order. The Jnani Purush answers it is in perfect order with certain principles. The world is puzzle, but always in principle. We have to try to understand what's the science behind these things. So now from there, taking to again my own self, my own life and living, as I said, over and above this, I have the relative inner self in the form of mind, reflective consciousness, intellect, and egoism. and all the four are working like a parliamentary system. Suppose Vasanbhai and Dr. Radhe sends the invitation, please come to the conference. Our mind will say, oh no, I have some other work, I have some other duty to do. Then again it will say, no, but I'll come to know something. And Chit shows, then intellect decides, and when the ego, Mr. Ego shines, the body action starts. So I'm just very briefly touching upon the mind, looking to my time, already looking here. So mind has two parts. One is the gross mind or discharge mind or the dravyaman, and another is the bhavaman or the subtle mind or the causal mind. The bhavaman or dravyaman, everybody is trying to understand what is mind, how the mind can be controlled, why my mind is showing bad thoughts and whatnot. So Dadaji has explained it very nicely that mind is a physical entity like a machinery, and it would continuously go on showing you different thoughts one after the another without a stop switch, even at night. So then how to deal with my mind? If I'm sitting here and some scenes are going on the screen in front, some may be liked by me, some may not be liked by me. Do I go and fight with the screen? No, I know that movie is going on, I am the viewer. Similarly, mind is like a movie and I am the viewer. If I know that much, I'll make use of the thoughts which are according to my goal or in my self-interest, and I'll just ignore the thoughts which are not according to my goal or not in my self-interest. And how the mind is being generated? Dadaji said opinion is the father of the mind and language is the mother of mind. The scientist here has to elaborate onto that. So coming to the holistic aspects of this science, human religion and humanity, as Kanu Dadaji already said, everything at the center is a common man, human and humanity. Just I am touching very briefly one of the aphorism that there should be dharma in life commerce, but there should be no commerce in dharma. Dharma is not a religion. It is a principled moral behavior of mine decided for me. So in my all life dealings, commerce is not only financial give and take. All my give and take life dealings, which are having some expectations and some reciprocations, are my life commerce. It should be based on dharma. But the dharma, such gatherings should not be guided by commerce. And there is always a common thread of humanity wherever one is in any part of the globe, at any level, with any belief, any faith. But the common thread of humanity can unite everybody in all the diversities. And believe me, it is again for my own self, not for anybody else. Economy, again, if we see the world economy, there should be common man at the center of the commerce, which is not there, and there should not be only figures of profit which are there in the corporates. Unless and until the common man comes at the center, happiness and needs of the common man come at the center, economy is not going to go holistic way. So ultimately, holistic science of nature and human living. As I have understood what is nature after all. My first ecology is this mind-body speech right now. Second ecology is all of you sitting here, because that is the environment which is touching me, not anything else. And then ecology or environment outside. So what is nature? Nature is nothing but scientific circumstantial evidences. Nature doesn't give me the result according to his or her will. Nature is just giving me the results based on my fed data. So, but nature always says that I am there to help you. You decide. If you decide to help others, I am there to help you. If you decide to do something, I am there to help you. If you decide negative, I'll help you that way. So, present day we are seeing a lot of disturbances or variations in the nature. What is that? Gnani Purush says that if we look inside, our living has also become unnatural. There are so many earthquakes, tsunamis and whatnot going on in our human minds collectively seen together. So nature is nothing but collective reflections of the human projections and the disturbances which has occurred in the human life and living which is going to nature. Nature is just correcting it. So for nature to get corrected, we need to correct ourselves as a whole. And science and nature, science should be always trying to help and be in harmony with the nature. When science is trying to go against nature or trying to do something against nature, the results are being evident like the oil spillage. And Gnani Purush and nature, Gnani Purush is one, which I am coming to my last slide. Who is Gnani Purush? whom I am referring here as Gnani Purush. Suppose I wanted to become an eye surgeon. I would seek and search out who is best in my profession, who is the best surgeon, and I would go and be by side with him to learn, to acquire the skills from him. Similarly, here what is being referred to as Gnani Purush is, here we are referring Gnani Purush, one who knows, not only knows, but who is thoroughly experienced about the real self as well as the relative self. One having mind, body, speech, but no mindness belief is left out. One who has all doership beliefs gone to zero. One whose mind, body, speech is totally natural in the natural living being. And he, within himself, by state of being, is stabilized in the experience of the pure soul self. And amongst us, he can probably help us, guide us and grace us to experience this inner science or the holistic science as I have been describing. And this has not come out of any textbooks. This has come out of the grace of the Gnani Purush and being visualized and being experienced within, and the hundreds are there who are experiencing. So Gnani Purush can illuminate all faiths, beliefs or areas of life, and I have the humble request that let's take the advantage of all of that during the coming 2 days. And if the time permits, if Uttam Bhai allows me time, and if you have some questions, we can take 2-3 questions. Otherwise, I stop here. Jai Satchidanand.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shailesh Bhai. I think the whole lifetime we would not have gathered this much information, revelation and his experience, which is nobody else, but it touches my heart and I consider that this is my experience. Thank you so much.